Welcome to the ninth grade experience. I'm your host, Chris Dutchko. As a teacher of freshmen and one of our freshman mentor committee faculty advisors, I spend a lot of my school day thinking about and helping students with the successful transition from middle school to the halls of Emmaus High School. The goal of this podcast is to give you the story of the ninth grade here at Emmaus High School through the people who live it daily, the students and staff. We will attempt to touch on the real issues and stories that ninth grade students face, ranging from academics to athletics, technical school, and just trying to find your way as one person in a community of approximately 2,700 students. We will also look to speak with some of the influential staff members who play a key part in a student's ninth grade year. It is the hope that future ninth grade students and their families can use the tips and insights provided here to begin making connections to their potential new school and learn more about the day-to-day lives of the students that they will one day become and realize from day one that ninth grade counts. You can learn more about this episode and all of the episodes of the ninth grade experience by following us on Twitter at EHSFMC or at Chris Stutchko, or following the hashtag EHS9counts, or our website, sites.google.com/eastpennsd.org/ninth grade experience. Before we jump into today's topic, let's thank our sponsor for this show, the East Penn Education Foundation. This podcast has been made possible through a $1,000 grant awarded to teachers like me each year who are attempting to do unique projects in the area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The foundation supports programs that put learning in motion by giving students the tools they need to think actively in a complex and changing world. You can follow them on Facebook at EPSD Education Foundation, on Twitter at EPSD EdFound, or on Instagram at EPSD Ed Foundation. Now on to the show. Welcome to this episode of the Ninth Grade Experience podcast. This is another of a new style of episodes here. We have 15 students that are currently on a Google Meet session that we're going to get their input as we begin looking at going to phase 2 of the digital rollout next week. We're letting some kids try out Google Hangouts and Google Meet and see what that's all about. So we're trying to get some input here and just getting them used to the system here. So thanks a lot, everybody, for coming. So hopefully the audio is okay. And what we'll do is we'll have people introduce themselves or say hi or just respond to what's been going on. So let's see. First question is, so how's it been going for everybody? You can chime in however, and we'll see how it goes.
It's been okay, I guess.
Slow, very slow.
I miss lacrosse.
Okay, so hold on. So real quick, before you guys chime in, you might want to let people know who you are if you want to identify yourselves by name just so they can hear you. So a lot of the people that are here have also been responding to our questions the last couple of weeks, but now we're going to give them their own voice to kind of answer some of the questions. So I know Ishan has been answering a couple of them and Reed have been answering a couple.
Hello.
So why don't we let you guys jump in first since your mics are unmuted.
All right,
All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go. I don't care.
Right.
I'm Reed, and I'm enjoying my stay-at-home schooling experience so far, but kind of miss the crowded hallways. Oddly enough.
Yeah. My name is Ishan Hodge, and I'm going to piggyback straight off of Reed here. I mean, I miss school a lot. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss the absolute insanity that was walking through the school hallways, and I miss trying to actually get to classes. I miss seeing my friends. But so far, the stay at home has been okay. It's just been extremely slow. I mean, the first few weeks were just tedious, unbelievably tedious. But yeah, so far, just a mirror off of Reed there.
So is anybody else, what are you missing about school here for these first couple of weeks, or some of you not even missing school at all? So again, just make sure you hit the little unmute button and introduce yourself before you start talking.
Wait, can I go? I'm Hannah.
Go ahead, Hannah.
All right, so I guess I miss like lacrosse because I play lacrosse, and I also miss like my crazy classes because I had some like fun people in my classes.
Okay, so you're just missing the interaction there. Who else? Anybody else missing something specific or in particular?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
like
studying
doing it
and I miss like track stuff like
Okay.
sports.
So that was Sheldine. So you're missing track. So how many of you, well, I guess I don't want to have everyone's shout out, but if you raise your hand on the screen, how many of you were playing a spring sport that you missed? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's a girl behind you. Oh, she's so pretty.
So the girl behind me is my daughter, Grace. She's been the one of the co-hosts of the podcast here for the last couple of weeks. Grace, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
So Grace did
Hello.
she did a Zoom scavenger hunt today through our house.
Yeah.
So she was running all through the house. We are not doing a scavenger hunt right now. So just to go back to the question there, we had 5 of our 16 people that are here are spring athletes. So they're missing out on their stuff. So Haley, I know you've tried to get in a couple times here. Is there something you wanted to say?
I miss school. Like people, the interaction.
And I think, and it's really funny coming from a lot of you that has been the thing that you've missed is that interaction, like seeing other people. Zoe, you had your hand up a little bit earlier. Did you want to add in anything?
Yeah, honestly, going off of everybody's, school's been one of the big things because it gives structure and like it helps speed up the day a lot. And like it's weird realizing that that's a big part of what we do.
Yeah, you kind of forget about the routine. You forget you're so used to just doing it day after day. You guys have been doing it now this is your 10th year of schooling for a lot of you, and you're just so used to the routine of it. Is there anybody out there that's not missing school? And if you are, you can start to chime in a little bit. Or nobody wants to be the brave soul that says, I miss school. No, everyone's missing school.
I thought I just said it though. I thought me, Reed, and Zoe, I thought we all said it.
Yeah, no. Is anyone like not missing being at school? A lot of you are saying you're missing school, but is anyone like, this is awesome. I'm so happy to be home. I wish we could do this all the time.
No. There's only so much family life that one can take before it becomes absolute craziness.
I'll chime in here. It's not that I don't miss school, but definitely before we got this break, I was starting to burn out, and it was a nice respite, I should say, to have.
So that was Dan. Dan is the one of the students I see running through my neighborhood. So Dan is mirroring the break here. Maury, did you have something you wanted to say? I see your things unmuted there.
I'm actually glad that I'm home because I get to work more hours. I work double shifts. My paychecks comes like decently $600, $900. I'm pretty proud of myself.
So Maury's in one of my other classes. So you guys that are in the room might not know her, but she's kind of at a different point in her academic career, but I invited everybody to kind of chime in. So Maury, can you just kind of share, I know you've shared a little bit in writing before, but can you just kind of share what you are up to right now? Where do you work?
I work at the Willow. I work with old people at a senior living home. I pretty much serve their food, take care of them. Yeah.
So you are part of a lot of people are out there working in medical fields or working with vulnerable populations. I know a lot of people's parents said that they were, working with different populations of people that are pretty difficult at this point. So that was something that I found to be interesting. So what is it? A lot of you have kind of said what you miss about school. What else are you guys missing about school? So some of you said just the interactions, the routine and your sports and your activities. What else is anybody missing in particular about school?
Just everything. The whole, like Zoe said, school provides structure. So without like structure, it's just the whole month, week, whatever the heck this is, just feels all out of whack.
Josh, I saw that you hit the microphone there. Did you want to add something in?
Yeah, I'm just missing the spring musical, honestly. So,
and
musical.
Were you involved in it?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Tech crew.
So I've done several episodes with freshmen that were in the musical. That was the last one that we did right before we finished up for break, and really interesting that kind of just got shut down. I have no idea if they're going to still go on with that. Have they given you any indication about what might come with that?
They're planning on doing it in May if we ever go back to school.
If we ever go back to school, yeah. So no matter
Sometime
what.
in May.
So if you haven't been following, I'm sure you have, we are indefinitely closed, and indefinite means they're not sure. So they think April 30th will be the first. That's like the next check-in. So we are home for the whole month of April. So hopefully everyone is finding a groove here. So next question here, and in all honesty, and you don't have to put your name to this one if you don't want to, but how many of you, or has anyone checked out any of the optional resources or the continuing learning stuff that has been available on the district website?
Yes.
Only for LCTI.
So we have one, we have LCTI person.
Another
Anybody
LCTI.
else?
LCTI.
Yeah.
So people that are in LCTI seem to have been checking in a little bit with this stuff. I know they're starting their continuing learning next week. A couple other hands up. So what have you guys done? Have you done anything like, so what have you been like physically doing since we have been not at school? And again, if you just want to talk, and if you haven't talked yet, you can just unclick the microphone and then you can talk.
I'm Hannah, and I worked out a lot. Yeah. I'm staying in shape for lacrosse.
Which makes sense because like at any point, I guess we could, in theory, go back and play. But I know you said, Hannah, you were involved in like club teams and other stuff as well too. So I assume all that shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now you're just kind of staying in shape. And has the blister on your foot healed?
Yeah.
That's good. That give you some time to get that all healed up. What else have people been up to there?
Hi, I'm Sheldon, and yeah, I've been like working out a lot and like cleaning, a lot of cleaning.
How many of you have been cleaning a whole lot, disinfecting your house a whole bunch? So a lot of hands up there. So yeah, that's.
I mean, we did it for like the first 2 weeks, but after that, we kind of just stopped because it was becoming way too tedious.
Has anyone?
In all seriousness, I couldn't do that all week.
I know it's crazy to think like before this, like who, you know, when was the last time you cleaned your house so thoroughly? And now we're literally cleaning. We have a schedule in our house where we're disinfecting at 10:30 in the morning, right before bed, and cleaning a lot. So my wife is leading the charge on that, and our kids are participating. But a lot of cleaning, a lot of yard work. Anyone else doing a lot of stuff outside?
I've been working on my friend's bike, which I thought would have taken a lot longer. Finished that in the first week. Yay.
Did you ever get the parts you needed?
Yeah. Luckily, South Mountain Cycle was open.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because their bike repair is essential. Bike sales are not though.
Yeah.
My mom's not letting me go.
What was that, Emily? You kind of broke up a little bit there.
What's it called? My mom, like, she like will barely even let me go outside. Like, not even like a little bit. She's very paranoid about the whole thing.
Yeah, we talked. One of the questions.
I want to go outside.
Yeah, one of the questions we asked last week was like social distancing and how that's been going with everybody. A lot of people were saying that they haven't been out of the house much. Like I know my youngest daughters have not been out of the house since the day that we were done school on the 13th. My son went out. They've been out to like walk in the neighborhood or something, but they haven't been in a store in now 3 weeks. My son went with us to a store one time. We told him not to touch anything. And of course he touched everything. And that was the last time he was allowed out.
I only want to like take trash and stuff out.
Yeah, so just getting the essentials out and cleaning up and all this other stuff. So as we kind of go into what they're calling phase 2, what do you guys think about this new opportunity to learn online and learn kind of the way that we're going to be doing it from now until at least till the end of April and maybe through the end of the school year? So what are you thinking about that? What kind of questions do you have? Is there any sort of fear about any of it?
To me, it's terrible. I prefer going to school.
So that's Maury. She wants to go to school. She wants to just do it the old school way. Zoe had the microphone on. She was getting ready to kind of chime in here.
I think it's kind of strange just to do it all on the computer versus like being in person.
Yeah, it's Go ahead, Ishan.
I mean, I know we like went to school and we would actually go to the school building, but we did so much of our work on the computer. But like now that we're at our house doing it on the computer, it for some reason it just feels wrong. Like my brain just doesn't approve. It's like I have to get out of here. I have to actually go to school. Like for me, this doesn't feel like school. This feels like something out of a crazy nuclear war movie. I don't know. Okay, that's a little exaggerated, but you get what I mean. Like it feels like something out of a fake fiction thing here.
Yeah, it's not something that anyone ever would have predicted would have happened or could have foreseen happening. Hannah, it looks like your microphone's unmuted. Did you want to add in something?
Oh yeah. I wanted to say that like I usually I don't really like school because I have to wake up early, but like I don't like this on the line thing because yeah, it's just like weird, and I like being there and actually like doing the stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no.
Doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how many, like, I'm surprised that we have this many people here, probably because we're not doing anything like school related right now, just kind of hanging out and talking. But I'll be really interested to see how many people actually do the work that we assign. And that's going to be starting on Monday. So we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. We do have some people that have been joining us here throughout the chat. So or through the Hangout here. So just so you know, we are recording it for the podcast. If you want to talk, you just have to unmute your microphone and chime in. I know some of you have been just kind of lurking and haven't jumped in yet, but you can jump in at any point. Just unmute your microphone and say hi if you'd like. So you could do that as well too. So we were just. Go ahead, Reed.
Well, it does feel weird doing it from home. I think one of the biggest things is it's affecting projects and LCTI. You can't really get your hands on. You have to just kind of paperwork, which is not enjoyable.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that go to LCTI like that interaction and like that kind of, hands-on approach as opposed to doing it online. So I think it kind of defeats what kids are going there for, but at least you will continue to get some work there and kind of getting stuff done that way as well too. Emily, you've been unmuted for a while. Is there something you wanted to add in about our current situation here?
I feel like it's kind of like majority of us, we go to public school because we like the interaction, and it's none of us can control what's happening right now, but we can all admit it's kind of annoying because I personally this doesn't motivate me to do any work. I hate being on the computer. I like face-to-face learning, but now I kind of have to get used to being on the computer because this is going to be the only option until further notice.
Yeah, and I think you're going to find that with a lot of kids. I think it's going to be hard to adjust. I think, it's really interesting that when you hear a lot of kids saying, I don't like school, I don't like going, but now here we are at school, here we are without school, and all of you are like, I want to be back in school, I want to be back in school. Now, not everyone's going to feel that way, but does anyone have an older brother or sister that's currently in college that's doing all their stuff online? So a couple of people have their hands up there. So Hannah, your microphone's unmuted. What have you noticed from what they're doing? And have you gotten any tips or strategies on how they're approaching their online stuff?
I know that she had to come home and everything, she had to bring everything. And right now she's using her computer, and she's she has assigned classes, so she has a notebook that keeps all her classes that she can check and see what time they're online, so she can go online at the correct time.
Yeah,
so she's organized about it.
So it's a lot of go ahead, Reed.
Another thing that I've noticed is that they have a good schedule of when they're doing it. My brother goes to L-Tri-C, and he's got a schedule of when he's on the computer to do the schoolwork, when he's online with the people, and that's the time that I'm not allowed in my room.
So yeah, since we're all in the science classes together, if you have Mr. Richards, you would have seen yesterday he sent the first email out about our meeting times and some other stuff like that. I'll be sending an email out about meeting times as well too. If you have Mr. Labar and myself, or just me, you'll be seeing that pop up on the weekend about office hours and doing stuff like that. So we will have a slight schedule, but one of the things that's interesting about this is it's kind of like everyone's going to complete things on their own time, and we'll just have times to check in. So we'll see how that goes with everything. I don't know, like what they're calling it office hours, and it's going to look kind of like what we're doing here, where we all check in and we all kind of like see how things are going, but it's not designed for any of your teachers to like teach you during this time. It's more of like a remediation time for you to kind of get the stuff that you need in order to understand the assignments. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of all goes with everything as well too. So I see people waving. I see people. So we still have all the same people that started. So this is good. So I haven't lost a lot of people yet. There's a little chat on the side. If you didn't know, you can chat in a chat box on the side. So if you're in a Google Meet, you can, if you don't want to talk to people directly. So just remember though, that everything that you type and say is archived somewhere. So make sure you're not putting anything inappropriate in the boxes on the side there. So just keep throwing that out there, that kind of, it's all there to be monitored. So does anyone have any questions about what it's going to look like for the next week, or kind of what to expect or anything like that? As we kind of wind down here, we'll let everyone get their last questions in. And then if you guys want to do like a rapid fire at the end, then kind of we turn everyone's mic on and you can all scream at each other for 2 minutes or something. I don't know.
Is Mr. Richards coming back? Like, is he going to be on a thing?
Mr. Richards won't be on this one in particular. What Mr. Richards sent out his office hours yesterday as to when he's going to do everything. So take a look. It was a huge post on Google Classroom about when he's going to offer his stuff. I'm going to do mine separately as to when I'm going to offer them throughout the week. His are a little bit later in the day. Mine are actually going to be during like the school day itself. So we'll take a look at all that. But yeah, so Mr. Richards, I don't think he's necessarily planning to do one of these trials. That's kind of why I put that out there as the trial.
Okay.
Are you planning on featuring Mr. Labar
on the podcast itself? Not really, but for office hours for us, Mr. Labar and I are going to do hours together. And so we will, like, on the days we'll release, when we put that up online, we'll let you know when those are going to be. But Mr. Labar and I are going to do a set of times together. And then we're going to do ones where I think I'm separate and I do ones that are different. But yeah, I don't know. I could always ask him if he wants to be a part of the virtual podcast that we're creating now. Yeah, I'll have to reach out and see if other people want to get maybe a large freshman Zoom of our freshman Google Meet of podcasting, and see if we can get 20 people to talk coherently on it. Emily, did you want to add something in?
Is there going to be are there going to be like set times, like a constant set time for when we like meet on these things?
So that's a good question. Are there going to be constant set times? The answer for a lot of your classes are going to be yes. What we have been asked to do as teachers is to set office hours that are consistent, like each week, so that everyone kind of knows when they can meet up together. But they're not mandatory. So just because we may offer an office hours time at, let's just say 11 o'clock on a Thursday, doesn't mean that you need to be there at 11 o'clock on a Thursday. So it's important that everyone's clear that, like, just because we have quote office hours doesn't mean that you have to go to them at the time that they are. Like, if you need a different time, just reach out to one of your teachers and see if they're available for one-on-one sessions, because we've also been told to do that as well too. But technically you will not have to be anywhere at any given time if you can't. So say like you have like 3 people in your house that need the computer and they need it at a certain time. Like, that's why the way it's designed is that everyone can kind of do it whenever they can do it. So the teachers are going to be flexible with meeting with you one-on-one and providing you that feedback and getting stuff to you. So no, there's not going to be like a 8th period science class where everyone needs to be there on Thursday at this time. It will not be a requirement. No. but that's a good question. And I'm sure a lot of students have that same question as well too.
And
Any, go ahead.
I'm trying. I'm thinking. Me?
Yeah, you're the only one unmuted.
I'm thinking right now. Hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. So while you think, is there anybody else that has a question or anything else that they would like to kind of get some information on about what next week is going to look like?
Can talk. I'm still thinking.
I'm sorry. Have we covered how we're gonna do lessons, or
okay? So
or am I just?
Okay, so let me answer Ishan's question, and then we'll kind of go into some other ones. So Ishan's question was, have we covered how we're going to actually do lessons? So what
specifically to this class.
Okay, so I'll tell you what specifically to, like. So what it's going to look like is that every Monday around 9 a.m. or so, the lesson or the objective for the week is going to be posted. And this is for all of your classes. So each class is going to give you something by 9 a.m. I think they said 9 a.m. on Monday, but Monday morning. You'll have some time to work on it individually. The teacher will provide office hours throughout the week for you to kind of ask questions as you kind of go through stuff. And then there will be a kind of quote unquote due date for some of the stuff that you hand in. And then we have to provide feedback to you that you can then use to answer some questions or improve your understanding of the topic. So you will not receive a numeric or letter grade for what you do. It's all feedback based, and it's all just kind of giving you the knowledge so that you understand the topics. The one thing that they are going to do is if you don't participate at all, they are going to take a note of that. So after a certain number of times, if you don't participate, like say you go the first 3 weeks and you don't participate, you may be notified by an assistant principal or somebody else as to getting you kind of on track a little bit. So that's kind of the big thing here is that you do have to participate and you are expected to do the work. I know that's kind of, we've had like 3 weeks now without it, but that's the expectation that you are doing the stuff. So, hey,
okay, so it's more just like bits of pieces of work that's required, but not officially graded.
The word grade is not used. So we're not using, it's not graded. We're providing feedback to you. And then what we have to make a note of is, did you meet the objective for the week to show that you understand certain things? So you'll see it pretty clearly when we kind of send our first thing out. It'll say like what the objectives are that you need to meet. So it's basically, I think for the first week, what we're planning on doing is we're going to do like a Google slide where it's like a self-directed Google slide. You answer some questions on the slide. Mr. Labar and I and Mr. Richards or whoever else is your science person is going to then provide you feedback in the middle of the week. And then by like Sunday of the next week, like by Sunday of the same week, you need to complete, you know how we do those like self-check quizzes where you can do them as many times as you need to get the full credit. That's what you're going to be to like prove that you understand the topic. So it's they're suggesting that you spend about an hour a week on your science work. So that's the expectation. So we're not designing something that's really, really strenuous, but we want you to kind of get some basic understandings of the class. So that's kind of what you're looking at for science. Each class is going to approach it slightly different, but that's kind of what we're looking at.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Can I chime in here and ask
Reed or Haley? Yeah, go ahead, Reed.
So are we not like having class?
Okay, so good question there from Haley, and then Reed, we'll come back to you in a second. So you are not required to be anywhere at any time. So you are not starting next Monday, it's not like you have to be period 1 at 9 o'clock, period 2 at 9:30, period 3 at 10. That is now people in other districts may have to do that, but we are not. What they are doing is if your teacher has office hours, those are times that you can check in with the teacher. But other than that, you will not have to be anywhere at any time. They just want to see that you complete the work. So if you complete the work at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, that's your prerogative to complete it then. They just want to see that you actually do the work. We understand that every family is different. We understand that there are lots of different circumstances if you're taking care of younger brothers or sisters, or if you have to work, or if you are, you're outside of your house because of some other reason. That's why there's not a specific time that you have to meet somewhere.
You guys made this extremely convenient.
Yeah, so they've tried to make it as convenient for students as possible. So that's a good question, Haley. And no, you do not need to, it's not like every day you're going to go through like a school day of like 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I know that there are some other districts around us that are doing something similar to that, but that is not how we're doing it for right now. They said all this is subject to change later on, like if we never go back to school, but for right now, that's what we're doing.
If we never go back to school, I'm going to be so mad.
I can't even answer that question for you, but we'll see. We'll see is the best answer. You just kind of have to see how it all plays out here.
One of my art teachers sent out a thing. We have to go to her classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays till June 2nd.
Yeah, so you're going to see the way that I have it as well too is set up for the office hours that you'll get is it will put something on like a Google Calendar, but it's just an offer. So right now, all I have to do is I'm offering you the time. So if you don't have a chance to go and say you want to you have questions, you can just reach out to your individual teachers or whoever and say, hey, I can't come during this time, but I have this question. Can you help me? So what they gave us were suggested times by periods to offer to kids, but it's not like you have to be there for second period. And Reed, you can finally ask your question now. Go for it.
All right, so I don't know how many classes are doing this, but the science final project, is that still a thing?
For right now, I'm going to tell you that we are going to incorporate it into some of our learning later on, but I'm not 100% sure what that's going to look like, but we want to make sure that a lot of you did a lot of work for that. So what we want to make sure,
the research project?
Yeah, the project that we started before where you had to start finding all the different articles and stuff, because that was important to us in the design of the class. When we assign you some of the work later on, that will be something that we actually do take a look at, and you will kind of have to continue along with that a little bit because a lot of you are doing some really great work with it, and we don't want to just have you stop on that. But it will look different. It will have different stuff going on with it, but so to answer your question, the expectation is that, yes, you will continue to work on that project, but it will look it's not going to look entirely different, but the expectations are going to not be as strenuous as they were. But that's kind of what we're hoping in some of the later weeks, but not right away. So right now, if you're a GSI for the classes that I am a part of, don't worry about your final project for right now.
All right.
Go ahead, Emily.
Sweet.
Wait, just for right now.
Do you have any idea of what our finals are going to look like, if there even are?
There are no finals.
Yeah, finals are canceled.
They cancel finals. They cancel Keystone. So you're not going to have to worry about any of that stuff. Even if we do go back to school. So you don't have to worry about any of that.
I have a question. Thank you.
Is that Maury or Zoe?
Yeah, it's more.
Okay.
I know it's not related to this, but what about prom?
Right now, all activities that are sponsored by the school are postponed. They're trying really hard not to cancel anything yet because they don't know what's going to happen. So things like prom, the musical is not officially canceled. Spring sports are not officially canceled, I don't think. Graduation has not been canceled. So they're not canceling and they're not canceling anything at this point. So you're just going to have to wait it out and see. I don't know if there are other plans in place to do anything related to that, if they have to quote cancel it. But for right now, it's kind of like if it was happening in April, it's not going to happen. So right now, all that stuff that you're talking about is in May. So we will see how that goes as we get closer to May.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Zoe, did you have a question?
Yeah, with finals being canceled, how is the end of this year and next year going to look like? How are we going to know, what our overall grades were for our core classes and what it's going to look like for next year?
Okay, so great question for that. So, what are your grades going to look like? In all honesty, they don't know yet. They don't know what that's going to look like. They haven't explicitly told anybody how that's going to be calculated. They're kind of waiting to see as this thing goes on what that's going to look like. What we can tell you that is you have stuff from like the third marking period that you did not complete. You might want to reach out to your teachers and get that stuff done, because things that were supposed to be turned in before we shut down can be part of the third marking period. But in all honesty, no one has the answer to your question, Zoe, and we might not know for a couple weeks. We might not know for the middle of May. We just know that this third marking period closes April 17th. So if you have any outstanding work from that time, it would be a great idea for you to get that stuff done. But other than that, there's been no communication on final grades yet. So you can hold off on that. And then for next year, they're planning for next year already based on all the stuff that you had already filled in. So all those course requests, all the things your teachers filled out, the schedule building, all that stuff, they are going to begin doing that soon. I know counselors are going to be looking at that and entering stuff in and reaching out if they need to, but they're going to proceed to build the schedule for next year. Like we're going to play school
How are they
for
already
real.
doing that?
They start building the schedule, Ishan, like in, when you do that first like tally in January, they're starting to look at the schedule then. It takes them that long to build it. So they're
All
already.
right, I guess you have a point with like all the kids that go to a school. Like you have to manage all of them.
Yep.
You said we have like some 1,000 kids in the school. I mean, I guess I could just cut them some slack. But
yeah,
like at first, I just thought that they were eager to get rid of us, and I was like, "What are you doing that for?"
Nah, they just want to look out for everyone's safety and health at this point. So yeah. So good question, Zoe. I don't have an answer for you. No one will have an answer for you. When we get an answer and we're allowed to communicate it, then we will let you know. Yeah, Maury, what's up?
So I read an article last night before I go to bed. So is it true that Government Wolf announced that kindergarten through 12th grade will be repeating their current grade?
Okay, so that is not true. That was an April Fool's joke. So if you saw that online, I know a lot of parents and a lot of people were passing that around yesterday. So that is not true. If you saw the article that was posted that says Pennsylvania students will repeat their grade, that is not true. So
Yeah, that
no,
better not
Maury,
be true. Otherwise I'll get mad.
You won't be a 12th grader again.
Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, I like you guys, but I'm not coming back here. Nope.
All right. So Trinity, who's been lurking the entire time, has a question. Hi, Trinity. What's up?
Hi. What happens if you get extra help in a classroom?
Okay, so that's a great question. So what happens if you need extra help or other things? So one of the things that we're going to do is make sure that we have people that are going to reach out to you. We're going to set up special office hours. We're going to set up different times to meet with students in order to provide that help. So depending on your class and depending on who you need to reach out to, there's going to be times available for extra help. Like for science, as an example, I'm offering an extra. Mr. Labar and I are going to do a time. Mr. Richards is doing a time, but I'm doing separate times, maybe twice a week for all those different classes for people if they need extra help. So for your science class, we'll be meeting. I'll have 2 times a week that we will be able to meet. And then we have Mrs. Dietrich might be available to help us too. So if you have, if you need extra stuff for your classes, just talk to your teachers about that kind of stuff. But that's something we're working on. So yeah, that's a good question though, Trinity. Thanks for chiming in. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
You doing more stuff now than just up? No, she's still here. Are you you doing some more stuff now? I said earlier it said all you were doing was watching Netflix. Have you gotten off of Netflix?
Yeah, I had enough.
You've had enough of Netflix.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody else have any other questions about anything? Because I think we'll stop recording and then we'll just because those were all really great questions that we're going to keep in. And I think we're running on over 40 minutes now. So I don't want to make the episode too long. Does anybody else
try Disney Plus? It's good.
You tried Disney Plus. All right. So does anybody else have any other questions or anything that I knew everyone out there would want to hear? All right, so we're gonna stop the recording now. But thanks for everyone chiming in. We're gonna stay on we're gonna stay in the Hangout. So if you want to stay, you can. But keep on the lookout. So next week, April 6th, starting on Monday, we're gonna get to our phase 2 of continuation of learning here in East Penn. So make sure you're checking your emails, checking all your different stuff. Listen to those questions that people were just talking about now. We have some people that are doing TikTok dances. So I think it's time for us to sign out. So hopefully you listen in, and thanks a lot. And we'll hear from you next week.